All right. Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast, and welcome to the second annual preseason award show.
I'm
Wait,
here this time.
we didn't wear
Good
shirts and
job.
ties.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
just thinking that.
We screwed up.
I don't think we screwed up.
I
I think it's
Q,
all right.
you didn't wear a shirt and tie last pod.
I wore a
either,
clip-on tie.
Yeah,
Well,
you
on a Michael
you
Jordan
failed last
jersey.
time, bro.
We can wear one for the real award ceremony.
Yeah, we'll do it for the end of season, the real awards. These are just predictions.
Make it formal.
Week
Make it
one might be
formal.
shirt and tie worthy.
Maybe. We'll see. In this award show, we try not to pick the obvious ones, like saying Kelsey will be tight end one or Adams and Tyreek going to be the best wide receiver, Christian McCaffrey, etc. We all know those guys are pretty much the unanimous takes across all of fantasy football for each position. However, we try to make it a more bold approach with guys we like a lot, make an argument for them, and really just try and give you the idea that they do have a chance to be the number one at their position or the comeback player of the year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to start with our positional awards, and we'll start easy. We'll start easy with the best defense predictions. T-Gods, what do you got for us? Start us off here.
My best defense for the year is going to be the Rams D.
Ooh.
They got two of the GOATs at their position. They got Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, two of the best. And a man I mentioned before, Jordan Fuller, he was a rookie last year, picked off Tom Brady twice in the same game. One of those picks was on a potential game-winning drive with 2 minutes left. So he's on the uppity. And their returner, Cooper Kupp. He can score a touchdown or two. You never know. And they got the old man D-Jax. D-Jax is always dangerous. I don't care how old he is. He's super fast. He might only play one game, but he can score.
That's
You
right,
can score.
100%.
You could definitely score. Yeah, I like that take. Love the Rams D. Matt, what do you got for us?
I took the 49ers defense. I mean, they were kind of hurt last year, but they still finished as a decent defense. I mean, they're getting Nick Bosa back this year, possibly D Ford as well. I mean, they already have names like Eric Armstead, Fred Warner. In the secondary, they have Verrett and Ward. So I like this defense a lot. I think that offense is also going to put up points. So offenses against them are going to have to try and score. Trying to score leads to turnovers. So I like the 49ers defense a lot.
Turnovers leads to fantasy goodness. That's how it works.
Love it.
All right, Q, who do you got for the best defense in 2021?
I think I'm picking Washington as the team with the best defense. I think I picked Giants to win the division, but I think just because of how good the Washington's defense is, they'll be winning this division. So I switched that. They have the best front four possibly in the league. Debatable. Best young front four. They added a couple pieces in the secondary. I really don't know what they have to offer special teams wise. I'm not sure if Terry McLaurin is their punt returner. Probably not.
They had Isaiah Wright, and he just got released, unfortunately. So
yeah, only you
out
have
of
those
town.
notifications on there. But they led the league they were in top 5 in many of the defensive categories, including sacks. And Chase Young is the reason why I would be drafting that team.
Chase Young is the truth.
Definitely the truth. I'll wrap us up here with my best defense. I'm going to take the Bills defense. I said this in the AFC episode as my target to draft them, just to list the quarterbacks they play. Don't even have to worry about their defensive players themselves. We already know they have a pretty solid defense. Quarterbacks they play this season: Zach Wilson twice, now Mac Jones twice, Tua twice, Fitzmagic, Big Ben in Buffalo, Trevor Lawrence, Tyrod Taylor, or whoever's playing QB for the Texans, most likely not Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, and Sam Darnold. Turnovers. Bills defense, they're going to be up a lot. And just like Matt said, they're going to be having to force turnovers. Bills defense is going to be very solid this year in fantasy.
That's great. They got blessed with those quarterbacks.
Yeah. Some of them are on good teams. Like Carson Wentz, the Colts are still a good team, but like
They play like a
good for a
rookie
pick or two.
quarterback 8 times in this season.
Right. Exactly. Their division is all young quarterbacks. So
That's great.
it's there for the taking at this point. All right, let's get into our next one. This one's going to be pretty quick. The best kicker. Kickers are relevant in fantasy. Kickers are people too, so we had to include them in the award here. Q, start us off. Who's your kicker?
Without keeping it obvious and saying Koo, I'm going to just take who I think is another top 5 guy and say Rodrigo Blankenship. I think their offense is good. I don't know if he's good enough to score many touchdowns, or no, they are. But if Carson Wentz, with all the issues that he's having right now, if he doesn't start the season, their offense is not going to be great going into week 1. And they may mean they're not able to capitalize within the 20, 30. Blankenship is a pretty good kicker. And yeah, he had his little run.
Yeah, he was decent last
The
year.
nerd.
Stretch.
Looks like a
throwing
nerd.
The nerd.
shots at T-Gods right here.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think that Koo
No,
is
'cause
an
I-
obvious answer. I mean, I think
it's
Butker's
Justin
ahead
Tucker,
of him.
yeah.
I think Justin Tucker's ahead of him.
Well, no, when I saw the prompt, I
Mhm.
first thought Koo. But
Well,
Uh-huh.
all right.
Whatever. Yeah. I'll keep it obvious, I guess, and I'm gonna go with Koo. They got crazy weapons to get him downfield, and Matt Ryan has been known to struggle in the red zone. I mean,
Very true.
quick math right there. It's obvious. Young-Ho Koo last year, 37 for 39 on field goals, and 8 for 8 from 50 plus.
Ooh,
that's crazy.
that's spicy.
That's spicy right there.
That's a good
Defi-
stat.
Definitely draft Koo, top 5, no doubt. Love me some Koo this year. All right,
You're a
Matt, what do you
bad
got?
man.
This guy was in contention for number 1 last year too, I think, right?
I believe he finished number 1 last
I
year.
think he did.
Ooh,
And that is the Miami Dolphins kicker, Jason Saunders. He was 92% from the field goal last year. He was the only kicker last year to play the full season and hit 100% of his extra points. So, I
nice.
mean, kickers have been missing extra points left and right. I don't understand it. I mean, it is hard. I doubt I could kick an extra point.
That's all they do, though. That's their only job. Is to
Right.
Kick. All they have to do is kick.
Yeah, weather conditions,
A lot of pressure.
some things come into factor. But I mean, that Dolphins offense is going to be better this year with having Gaskin back. They added Will Fuller, so they have more weapons on the outside. I see this offense not being elite, but they're going to get into the red zone and on the opposing side of the field enough to where Jason Sanders has a good chance of finishing number 1 again.
Respect it. Like some Jason Sanders this year. I'll finish this off. With
That started off
Brandon.
by saying Jason Saunders.
Yeah.
I had to make sure there
I
was no
pronounced
U in
it.
there.
I pronounced it twice just to make sure I hit it at least once.
50%. Better
Yeah,
than Ben
they're-
Simmons free throws. Shots
Hi,
fired.
Ben.
Anyways, moving on to my kicker, Brandon Mcmanus. Kicker super hard to predict, so I'm just going to be biased here. Go with my Temple guy, Brandon McManus. With Bridgewater at the helm, the team will play dink and dunk football, so they're going to get stopped in field goal range a bunch, and I think McManus will be able to get the job done this season. So, love me some Brandon McManus. Will be solid this year. Definitely a kicker to take if you're one of the later guys to take a kicker.
Yeah, if you don't get like Koo or Sanders,
You're throwing a
or
dart
like
at that point.
Tucker, you want to pick a kicker that has on a good offense, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I like actually stacking my kicker with my quarterback. So then if your quarterback doesn't get to
That hurts when
end
you play
zone.
against that team.
then you get the field goal.
That is any stack.
It makes sense. Think about
It
it.
does make sense. I've never thought of it, but it's kind of
Makes sense.
smart.
It makes some sense. All right, let's get to the best tight end here. A little bit more of an interesting award. Q, you could start us off. Who do you think is going to be the best tight end with a little spice of boldness here?
Wait, how's it placed? I said, who did I say?
You said George Kittle. I'm just talking about like
How do you
we're-
not know
we're
who
upsetting-
you said?
No, I know
Princess
what I
Leia.
said, but I thought maybe he read something else. That
No, a
joke's
little
old.
spice of boldness just because it's not Travis Kelce.
So I
Switching it
think
up.
he should be drafted over Waller, first of all. He
like it.
in 2019 when he was healthy, quote unquote, because he was battling injuries. He finished top 5 in tight ends at yards after the catch. We know what he's capable of doing. I'm not concerned about either quarterback that plays, whether it's Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo, because both look great when they were on the field with Kittle in the preseason games. And we all know about the wide receivers and their injury history. So we've repeated many times. And we saw what Kittle did week 4 against the Eagles last year when Brandon Ayuk wasn't established yet and Debo wasn't on the field. He scored 39 PPR points and was the entire team with Nick Mullins at quarterback. So, yeah, I think with a healthy year, number 1.
All right. I like Kittle. I agree with you over Waller there. I know T-Gods and Matt don't. T-Gods, let's hear your side of the story here. Who's your tight end for the best tight end?
First, I want to say I just got a notification saying that Eagles tight end Zach Ertz expresses forgiveness towards the front office and emphasizes his commitment to the city and the organization.
Love me
Ertz is
some
definitely
Zach Ertz.
staying
Yeah.
in Philly. No
One
doubt.
player wants to stay here.
I know Matt agrees with me on this one. I know he would
Yes,
take
sir.
him if I didn't already take him. But Darren Waller is he's gonna finish tight end 1. I'm confident in this. I'm not just saying this to make a little bold take. I really think he could do it. I mean, he was only 35 points off last year. Just 35 points. And
From Travis Kelce.
And he had more receptions than him. I'm just saying he had more receptions. And if anything, the Raiders have less targets this year. No Aguilar. I don't even who's their wide receiver 1?
Henry Ruggs.
Okay, he had like 20 catches last year.
I would say like
Brian
Renfro.
Edwards again. Hunter Renfro.
None of them compare to Waller.
Didn't they?
Waller
Nobody.
They don't have John Brown anymore either. They released him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Renfro
last year,
beat Ramsey.
Waller had 279 fantasy points. Kittle's max ever 259. Not on the level yet, Q. I'm sorry. He's not there yet. He's good. He's not there yet.
Not there yet.
Just 20 points off.
All right, Matt. Let's get on to your guy here a little bit further down the rankings. Who is your take
Just a little
for the best
bit.
tight end?
I mean, he's probably right behind everybody that was already said. I'm going to go the rookie tight end, and that is Kyle Pitts. I mean, we all expect his volume to be outrageous. The only competition he has there for targets is really Calvin Ridley. He's going to be a monster in the red zone. He is 6'6". To put that in
Damn, he's that
perspective,
tall.
He's
he
huge.
could be starting in the NBA right now.
Could be
So,
LeBron.
Yeah, that's just gonna like open him up in the red zone so much. His last year in college, he had 8 games, 43 catches, 770 yards, and 12 touchdowns. No drops. So his hands are for sure. And he could easily exceed that in the NFL based on the new 17-game season. I could see him exceeding 80 catches, 1,200 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So I would not be surprised based on volume if Kyle Pitts finishes as the number 1 tight end.
All right. I love
You said he's only competing with Calvin Ridley, but that's not true.
I mean, like
That's not
that's
true.
His,
Russell
that's
Gage
his main.
is,
That's his main
Russell
competition.
Gage
That's
is
his
gonna be good, dude.
You know what I meant, T guys.
I'm
you know
just
what I
saying,
meant.
don't forget about Gage.
You know I love Gage.
Don't forget
All
about
right.
Hayden Hurst either.
All right, too far.
Too far. We forgot about
That
him.
joke's old.
Damn, what the hell?
Wow.
Must be the rain.
All right. I'm going to go with a new tight end, Jordan Matthews. No, I'm just kidding.
Ew.
He did just convert to tight end on the 49ers. But no, I'm going to go with Mark Andrews, the tight end for the Ravens. I'm all the way back in on the Ravens offense this year. Andrews had a better 2019 than he did in 2020. He was a little banged up here and there, missed a couple games. But J.K. Dobbins is out. It will be even more of the Lamar show. He's going to run a ton, but when he's passing, Andrews will be exactly where he's looking. And Andrews is going to be a huge red zone guy there. He hasn't peaked over 100 targets yet, and I think that happens this year. I think they realize how much of a focal point Mark Andrews is going to be in this offense, and I'm really not scared of Sammy Watkins taking away targets or anything like that. Bateman's already banged up. Hollywood's already banged up as well. So Mark Andrews, he's got a shot at being number 1 for me for sure, and I got him ranked as my number 4 heading into the season.
I think Bateman's starting the season
Yeah,
on the pup
he's
list.
out the first 3 weeks.
Yeah. So Bateman, he's not going to be there. Just more reason Mark Andrews is going to be number 1 guy.
I like him this year.
All right, let's move on to the best wide receiver. Q, I think we know where you're going with this one.
I'll keep it quick. Stephon Diggs. Once again, it's hard to it's weird talking about him being almost the best receiver in fantasy football after him being up and down in Minnesota. Finished wide receiver 3 without training camp or preseason last year. Finished first in targets, yards, catches. That'll continue because Josh Allen is only getting better as well. It may be a little closer in competition because now he has another valid wide receiver on the other side in Emmanuel Sanders, but I think Diggs is a star, and number 1 shouldn't be too hard.
Possible. He's right there. He was right there last year. So
He was on the brink.
I wouldn't be shocked. Josh Allen, he's got it in him. All right, T-Gods, what do you got for the number one wide receiver here?
You already know it's Calvin Ridley. You already know it's Calvin Ridley. He played 15 games last year, had at least 5 receptions in 13 of those games, and 8 of those games he had at least 100 yards. His target share was 26%, and I think that's his floor. I think, seriously,
Especially
I think
Could
that's
be
his
30%
Yeah.
this year. Yeah.
It's absurd. He had 40 deep targets last year, which was number 1 in the league, and he had 22 red zone targets, which was number 2 in the league. Matt Ryan loves this guy. Calvin Ridley knows how to play football. He's very good at it, and he's gonna have like unlimited targets this year.
I like it.
I like it too.
Same argument I had with Kyle Pitts. That volume is going to be outrageous.
I guess it'll be 50-50 in target share. Just those
Yeah.
two guys. Maybe 1%
Stop
Gage.
sleeping on Gage. Oh my God, he had 73 receptions last year.
No, I love Gage. The two main guys. We'll give it like 10% to Gage.
We'll get 15 maybe.
9% Gage, 1% Mike Davis.
Oh my God.
Mike Davis will get a couple targets too. All right, Matt, who is your wide receiver?
All right. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone here a little bit. I'm going to go Keenan Allen.
Yes, sir.
We all know that the wide receiver 2 on the Chargers has been non-existent for the past couple of years. I mean, when Keenan Allen has been healthy, it's really been all him. He has 4 seasons in a row finishing as a top 13 wide receiver, finishing top 13 also in targets, receptions, yards, and fantasy points. So, I mean, and he missed 2 games last year. So missing 2 games, finishing top 13 at the wide receiver position, that's tough to do. He averaged 10 targets a game last year. That volume should stay consistent throughout this year. Mike Williams, I hate to say it, but he's been an injury bug for the past 3 years that I can recall. I don't really see Josh Palmer really stepping up yet, or Jared Cook being the fossil that he is, taking too many targets away from Keenan Allen. And Herbert's only going to improve in year 2, and he's going to feed Keenan Allen. So I don't see why Keenan has no shot to finish number 1 this year.
Yep, that's my guy, the target monster. Love me some Keenan Allen. All right, I'll finish this off here at the wide receiver position. Mine's a little bit bolder, I guess you could say. I'm going to take Terry McLaurin. I think he's definitely got an outside chance of finishing as wide receiver 1 this year. As wildly inconsistent as Ryan Fitzpatrick is, he does one thing well, and that's moving the ball down the field. He'll air that ball out as much as he can, and he also always targets his top guys pretty heavily. Terry has top 5 upside any given week and will be able to get a ton of volume every single game. Their defense is pretty good, but they're still going to be in a ton of close games because I don't think like their offense is going to be that tremendous. Like I said, Fitzpatrick's unpredictable. He's going to be throwing picks. It's going to keep them in games where they're going to have to, it's going to be close games, and he's going to have to throw to Terry pretty much all 4 quarters. He's my bold guy to be the number 1 wide receiver this year, and I have him ranked as wide receiver 8 heading into the season.
Jeez, you went from top 5 to now number 1.
Number 1.
Hey, number 1 is top 5.
No, top 5 is top 5.
The ceiling is the roof. All right, let's get into running backs. Q, start us off. What do you got?
I just want to keep banging this drum. I hope Saquon Barkley, I hope that he can finish number 1. If he's 100%, which they say he is, he's still questionable for week 1, but they just could be trying to be safe.
100%.
Yeah, but they recently added another lineman. I felt this way even before, though. I thought he'd finish number 1. I think he's going to be the most reliable option on this offense. Galladay's hurt. Shepard and Slayton, I have their history, and Evan Ingram is Mr. Inconsistent, one of them. So I think Daniel Jones is going to be someone who, I mean, obviously he's going to be feeding Saquon and he can catch the ball. That's why I made the argument, not the argument, but I spewed a comment last week saying that Saquon could be better than Christian McCaffrey if they both played a similar amount of games, but due to injury, obviously hasn't. Yeah, Saquon Barkley. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished top 3, but I'm giving number 1 to him.
All right. Love me some Saquon. Just need him on the field. Get him on the field and keep him on the field. That's all that matters.
Please.
All right, T-Gods. Who you got?
My RB1 specifically for PPR but not just that. Alvin Kamara, he's going to be great. He's playing at least 5 weeks without Michael Thomas. Could be more. Definitely not less. So his opportunities are just going to be through the roof. Over the last 4 years, 83 receptions, 81, 81, 81. We know he could do that. On average, he averages 1,541 all-purpose yards every season and 14.5 touchdowns. That's absurd. That's super solid. And he's really reliable. He's only missed 4 games in his 4 seasons in the NFL. And in those 4 seasons, he finished RB3, RB4, RB9, and RB1.
His floor is top 10.
He's
when you
pretty
said
good.
when you said specifically PPR though, I thought you were gonna go with Eckler.
I wish. I mean, I love Eckler too. I won't deny that.
Dude,
He
stop
could be 1. He
spoiling.
could be 2. He could be 3. Yeah, stop spoiling, Sean. You
Oh,
might as well
I
go,
didn't know
man.
what anyone else said.
Damn, man.
Spoils Q. All right. Well, I guess I'll go before Matt because we all know who Matt's taking. Q spoiled it here. I'm going to take Austin Eckler. 18.1 points per game last year in games that he played the full game. Herbert's coming into his 2nd year. He's ready for a big year. Matt already touched on him with Keenan Allen. Despite the head coach being adamant that they will work in other running backs, Eckler's still by far the best pass catcher on this team. He had 54 catches in only 9 games last year. And I think he breaks 100 receptions this year and should easily have 1,500 plus scrimmage yards. And hopefully closer to 2,000. Austin Eckler has all the upside this year to be the number 1 running back in fantasy for me.
I like it. I love me some Eckler.
Love Eckler.
Big
I feel like
Eckler guys
he's so
on this pod.
underrated still, like somehow, some way.
All right,
Still being drafted too low.
I'm in a 14-team league, PPR. I have 6th pick. Is it acceptable to take Eckler there?
I got Eckler as my RB5, so 100% for me.
I moved them up
I would
because of
do
you
that.
guys.
We
Honestly.
convinced Q. We sold him.
Honestly.
That's what we got to do. All right, Matt.
Noise.
Finish us off.
All
You're
right.
wearing them.
Yeah, I'm not stepping out of my comfort zone for this one. RB1, Dalvin Cook, baby. Finished RB2 last year, missed 2 games. If he played those 2 games, no doubt in my mind, he's RB1 last year. He is the workhorse on that Vikings offense. There is no receiving back. It is Dalvin Cook. He is the rusher on that team. He does everything out of the backfield. He ranks 2nd in carries, total touches, and scrimmage yards and touchdowns last year. So, I mean, he plays those extra 2 games. Like I said, he's number 1. Health shouldn't be an issue. I know T-Guys tried to touch on this in a couple of earlier podcasts. He only missed 2 games last year. That's a lot better than him missing 6, 8, whatever. So, I mean,
The whole season. Close.
the whole season, yeah.
A couple years ago.
He's getting healthy. He's staying healthy. That's what I like to see. He also had 22 carries within the 5-yard line last year. So, I mean, when they're down, ready to go into the end zone, they're counting on Dalvin Cook to punch it in right there. And I love to see that. They trust him. He's been top 3 the past 2 seasons. So why not number 1? 46% of the Vikings plays are running plays.
Jeez.
So
I hate Kirk.
almost half the time, Dalvin Cook is touching the ball. I mean, the volume is there. The production is there. He just has to move up 1 measly spot, and he's right there at number 1.
You say measly. That's a big spot, I think.
It's a measly spot.
All right. Love me some Dalv this year too, Matt. Let's get into the best quarterback before we get into some more unique awards. So Q, start us off. Best QB this year.
May have thought I was going to say Herbert, but I'm not there yet. I'm going Josh Allen. In the last 3 seasons, he's had 25 rushing touchdowns, and to put that in comparison, Christian McCaffrey has had 27. But McCaffrey has missed like a whole season, pretty much. There's no change in the running backs as they're both not so solid. You're hoping that Zach Moss can maybe become something and be another weapon for Josh Allen. And they added Emmanuel Sanders. The mobility alone, I think, gives him an advantage over Patrick Mahomes and his continuous improvement. Why not make him number 1 when his passing skill is already there? Well, growing with Stephon Diggs, and he runs. So
He does run.
number 1, Joshua.
Joshua.
He be running.
I like it.
He do be
He
running.
do be running. He'd be a good quarterback.
Yeah, he is a good quarterback.
And I'm
All right.
also low in all the Chiefs, so why not put another one ahead of another Chief?
Of course, Q. We know that. It's gonna fail for who knows why. All right, T-Gods. QB, best one in 2021. Who you got?
I swear I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm not, but I am
You-
a Dak fan. I'm a Zeke fan, and I'm a CD fan. But Dak is my QB1 for the year. I know you guys heard the pace last year. It was insane. His 4 full games that he played, he was averaging 422.5 passing yards a game. That's a 16-game pace of 6,760 yards. The current record is 5,477.
At a 17th game, he's throwing for 7K this year.
Dude,
Like
That's nuts.
that's
No way he keeps up that
no,
pace.
of course not. But
course not.
it's just a fun stat to look at. Like
That is
almost 7,000 passing yards, dude. That's absurd. In those 4 games, he also had 12 touchdowns. And when you're playing in an offense with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Zeke, Dalton Schultz,
and no defense.
and an awful defense, it's going to be super hard for him to not be top 5. He has to be like terrible to not be top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like the James Harden of just a bunch of stats and not much to show for it in real life, at
That's
least.
all you need for fantasy.
Yeah, I know that.
He'll take him to the
Yeah, that's all we
playoffs,
care about.
lose
Yeah.
first round.
Fantasy football podcast. That's all we care about right now. All right, Matt, what do you got here for QB?
All righty, man. I'm gonna go Russell Wilson.
Russ?
Little bit of an old head pick here compared to the two that got
That's the
discussed
boomer of the
before him.
podcast.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, he finished number 4 last season, and that was with him having a down year the second half of the season. So imagine if he kept the pace from the first half, finished in the second half with the same production. Why couldn't he finish number 1? I mean, the defense is bad, so he won't be able to the Seahawks won't be able to be so run heavy. He's going to be forced to throw. The defense really didn't improve in the offseason. Finished top 3 in passing touchdowns the past 4 seasons. That's consistency. Offensive line is shit. He could be forced to run, showing his running ability. I believe last year he finished with like his 5th most rushing yards and attempts. So I only see that increasing. He's going to rely on his legs a lot, and he's never missed a game. And the best ability is availability.
Mr. Reliable.
Oh, reliable.
I didn't
He's
know
there
he
to
never
play.
missed a game. That's crazy.
He's there to play, there to produce. I love Russell Wilson this year.
Bro, in his entire career, he's never finished lower than QB 11. And that
Talk
was his
about a
rookie
floor.
year.
Talk about a floor.
Solid.
He was number 1 in 2017. Could definitely happen again. Definitely love Russ. He does get slept on. I'll finish this off for my best quarterback. Kyler's definitely my favorite again, but I'm going to stick with my Ravens trend here, and I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. Lamar was MVP in 2019. We all know what he's capable of. And I mentioned with Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins is out, will not be back. He's going to have to do everything possible for this offense. He got a little bit of upgrades, like I mentioned. Bateman's going to be out for a little bit. Sammy Watkins, I don't think he's going to take away that many targets from Andrews, but I do think he's going to be a little bit of an upgrade compared to what he had last year. Andrews and Hollywood can sometimes catch a deep ball. Lamar's going to do a ton with his legs again this year to keep the Ravens winning games, and I think it's going to be another year of fantasy greatness for Lamar. Love me some Lamar this year. I'm back in on the Ravens offense. All right, before we get into a little bit of our different awards here, rather than just the best at each position, let's get into today's sponsor, the Thrive Fantasy app for iOS and Android. Thrive Fantasy app is a daily fantasy sports app for player props and sports betting. If you download the Thrive Fantasy app today, use our promo code SUPERFB, that is SUPERFB, and you deposit $20 or more, you'll receive an instant $50 bonus. We're only like a week away at this point from the NFL season. Make sure you download that Thrive Fantasy app. If you're here live with us on Twitch, it is right below now. We do have the extension up and running, so make sure you check out the Thrive Fantasy app. Use our promo code SUPERFB. Make some money.
Fair money don't make no money.
Exactly, Matt. Exactly. All right, let's get into our more unique awards. The next one here is going to be the best value pick. So for guys that are wide receivers and running backs, guys outside the top 30 at their position for their current ADP. But we're saying these guys are going to finish top 10, and that's the value that they're bringing to the show here, I guess you could say. Couldn't think of a word for some reason. All right, Q, start us off. Who's your best value?
Well, that makes my value pick even bolder. I didn't read the last part of it, but I'm going to go with
I
Corey
didn't know
Davis.
that they had to finish top 10.
Well,
Yeah.
they don't have to finish top 10, but they're a good value pick.
Top
They'll
10
be,
is pretty, that's up there.
Corey
they'll be
Davis.
better than their ADP.
One of the best value picks at wide receiver, at least. Now the number one on the Jets. Zach Wilson seemed to be a fan of him in the preseason games. He's only inclined when it came to touchdowns, receptions, targets. Yes, he was on a better team with a better quarterback, but I'm not worried about him being on the Jets just because Adam Gase isn't there anymore, and Denzel Mims and Jameson Crowder aren't much competition for a guy. And now Chris Herndon now is no longer on the Jets.
I
I don't know.
getting that many targets.
I don't know who the hell is the Jets tight end now, but it's probably someone.
They're going to sign Tim Tebow.
Then the bet's back on that I had 2 catches in the season. But Corey Davis, I think he finishes top 20. I'll give it to that. Top 20. Corey Davis finished top 20. He's number 1 wide receiver on the team. Lots of upside.
James Crowder's already banged up too. Tweaked his groin.
What else
I
is
think
new?
yesterday. So yeah, nothing new there. All right, T-Gods, what do you got? Who's your best value pick?
My best value pick is kind of a nut job. Pretty sure he has CTE, but it's okay. He still produces, so it's fine. Antonio Brown. There was a lot of competition there that he has in Tampa Bay, but with all that, he still had 20% target share of that offense last year. It's pretty decent. He had 45 receptions and 0 drops in his 8 games that he played last year. So,
Yeah.
and we know his skill, we know his ability, we know he could finish inside the top 10. He's done it before. He's finished number 1 twice. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah.
He's been there.
That was a
He's been at the
trivia
top.
question last week.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen him do it. He's a great player. He's just a little weird. But
He finished.
there's
wide
literally
receiver.
Weird.
no reason he should be drafted at wide receiver 38.
Yeah.
It's
Like
95th
he was
overall.
literally, he almost was the best, almost on his way to the best ever. He finished wide receiver for the last 3 weeks of the season last year. So
Popped off. And he's not
Yeah.
even drafted as a starter in a 12-team league.
he's good.
He's good at
Pretty
football.
He's going to finish
He's
over
good at
Chris
football.
Godwin.
Yeah, good football
Ooh.
player. That's bold, Q. But
That is bold.
I could see it. Someone's got to be the odd man out. It's the
Not
favorite,
Scotty Miller.
obviously, is AB. Well, Scotty Miller is definitely the odd man out there.
Easily.
All right, Matt. Best value pick. Who you got for us?
All right. I'm going to stick with the trend here and pick a wide receiver because the running backs, you kind of know what you're getting. And I'm going to go with Laviska Shenault. He is currently going wide receiver 37. So that's like fringe wide receiver 3 in a 12-team league, mainly a wide receiver 4 in most leagues. But his rookie season, missing 2 games, he had 58 catches, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. That was nearly identical to DJ Chark, who, quote unquote, is the wide receiver 1 on that team. That wide receiver 1 spot is up for grabs now. Between the 3-headed monster, Marvin Jones, Shenault, and DJ Chark, I think Shenault will outperform both of them and will end up the wide receiver 1 on the Jags by the end of the season. T-Gods, don't look at me crazy like
I'm
that
looking at
because
you
I know you
crazy.
love
I don't
Marv.
agree with
love
that either.
Marv.
Yeah,
That's
Marv.
fine.
Love Chark?
You're
That's fine.
crazy.
Shenault looked great in the preseason. Granted, all the other receivers weren't there. I just feel like Trevor Lawrence is building an early trust with him, and that's good, especially for a rookie quarterback. But what surprised me was Shenault had 295 yards after the catch last year. That was by far the best out of all receivers on the Jags. I think Chark was second with 166. So, I mean, if he gets the ball in his hands, he knows how to get yards down the field even after the catch. That's a big bonus in fantasy. And you could, Shenault going wide receiver 3, 4 in most leagues, you could easily get him at that price and end up with a wide receiver 2.
Do like me some Shenault this year. I can't lie. As much as I'm a big Chark guy, Chenault's also easily has some value, and Marvin Jones. I like all three, so we'll see how it shakes out.
Marv.
You guys are picking the old man out of the group.
I like Chark, but
The one you could trust the easiest.
His
He's
volume
reliable.
last year was what made him number 18. I'm gonna just
all right,
say that.
Okay.
we'll see. Let me get to my best value pick. My pick last year for this was Cooks, which was actually a good value, but he did not finish top 10, unfortunately. This year, I'm going to rock with Michael Pittman Jr. Because I can't rely on Paris Campbell to be healthy, even though I love Paris Campbell so much. I'm going to go with the second-year wide receiver Pittman. Wentz is going to throw the ball more for the Colts this season, and with a little bit of a tougher schedule, they'll need a bit more firepower throwing the ball. Hilton is out for a few weeks with a neck injury. I think they placed him on IR, so he's out for at least 3 weeks. And like I already mentioned, Campbell cannot stay healthy. So Pittman will have a huge value at his current ADP. And I do think he has an outside chance of being a wide receiver 1 this year, but more likely he'll slide into that flex wide receiver 2 range. I think Pittman's going way under his ADP where it should be. Grab some Michael Pittman.
We never talk about the tight ends in this team, but I guess rightfully so.
Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle.
I like Mo Alley Cox this year.
Sean,
I like
you
him in
used
the
to
red
So
love
zone.
does
Doyle.
Sean.
Sean used to love Doyle.
I do love
And
Doyle,
Mo
but
Alley
he can't ever
Cox.
stay healthy either. He's never on the field. Mo Alley Cox was even banged up last year too for a little bit. So give me Pittman. It's my guy this year for the Colts. All right, this one's going to be a little bit interesting. The fantasy performance of the year. So we gave this award out at the end of the season last year after looking at all the performances. But this year we're going to predict which player is going to have the biggest game this year. Q, start us off. What do you got?
Wait. I just want to say I gotta skip this one because I got the wrong idea of what you meant by performance of the year.
All right.
I thought Q got the wrong idea with his answer.
I just noticed it and I was like,
You mean who's gonna?
Who's going to have the biggest performance, like the best performance this year?
in a game,
In one game.
Like
In a
Kamara,
game,
6
yeah.
touchdowns last year.
That's not what I thought. I meant like all. I
Oh.
thought it'd be like all around like performance of the year. Like that's okay.
I see what you mean.
See what you're saying. All right, T-Gods, come up with one on the spot. Keep it in your back pocket. I'm just kidding. All right, Q, go ahead.
you could.
So I'm gonna make it early. I think that Tom Brady, first game of the season against the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football, he starts his 50+ touchdown season, and I think he throws 6 on that terrible Cowboys defense.
Dak will
And
throw
a
7.
touchdown.
Dak will throw 7.
You think Dak can throw 7 against that defense?
Not against
No
the Bucks, dude.
way.
Dak
And they
will
might
throw
lose like
7.
50-10.
No way, 10. They'll get some points.
Can't cover them all.
Brady definitely could blow up this week. I think he's the highest projected quarterback on ESPN right now for week 1. So Brady could blow up, Q. Could be right.
He has
Very
rushing
fun.
ability.
No, he
Does
doesn't.
get that rushing ability.
He has QB sneak ability on the 1.
That's about it.
All right,
Can't
Matt,
catch a pass though.
who you got for your fantasy performance of the year?
All right. Well, as T God said, his wide receiver of the year is going to be Calvin Ridley, and to help him do that, he's going to have the performance of the year. Last year, his best game was against the Buccaneers, which ended up being a shootout. He had 10 catches, 163 yards, and a touchdown. That's easily 30+ points in PPR, probably 40+, including bonuses. And yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, the volume is going to be there for him and Kyle Pitts in that Atlanta offense. And Atlanta, their defense is poop. So they're going to be in many, many, many shootouts this year. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be against like a good offense. They could just have a lead, blow it, have to come back, and they're throwing it. And when they throw it, it's most likely going to Calvin Ridley. He is by far the best option on the offense. And what else is there to say?
No, you could easily have the best performance this year, but I'm going to go with a different wide receiver personally. I'm going to take Keenan Allen, Matt's guy, for the best wide receiver.
There's
I'm
a
gonna say-
trend here.
I'm going to say he's going to break the NFL record for receptions in a game and catch 22 passes in a shootout this year. 22 receptions. He's one of the heaviest targeted players every season.
Against the Eagles.
Maybe
They
we'll
play the
see.
Eagles.
Could be against the Chiefs where they're trying to keep up, whatever. Doesn't matter which game it's going to be in. He's breaking that record one game this season. Mike Williams gets banged up again. Which could happen. He'll be the only guy to target on this offense. Even with Mike Williams, he still sees a ton of volume. He's going to grab 22 catches in one game and make PPR owners super happy they invested in the 29-year-old Keenan Allen. All right. Let's get into the next award. Get T-Gods back in the swing of things. Most improved player. Q, you can start us off for this one. What do you got?
So I'm going to take Sam Darnold of the Panthers. Big upgrade in offense. Two potentially top 25 running backs, and then arguably like the best receiving back in the league. I mean, it's easy to be considered improved when you're leaving Adam Gase, not even the Jets, because he was good sort of with Robbie Anderson. I don't know if Adam Gase was the coach. He may have been, but either way, I think he could be a top 20 quarterback, but I'm not going to give him the award of top 12 that Matt may give him one day if he ever reaches that point. But top 20, and then I think he is most improved. There's many reasons why he can be.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see with Sam Darnold. T-Gods, who you got? Some guy, actually a guy I just bashed a little bit.
It's fine. You can. Well, Matt was really bashing him. So Matt, over the last 3 years, how many games did Mike Williams miss?
8.
No, you want to try again?
If it's lower than 5, your stat is incorrect.
It's not.
How many games is it?
He missed 2 games.
No way.
He missed 2 full games.
Then he has been irrelevant.
Mr. Irish
That
goodbye.
is Mr. Irrelevant.
Isn't that the perfect
Wait,
person?
He might have played left due to like injury.
But that's why I said
Yeah.
full games. He missed 2 full games in the past 3 years.
I still can't trust him.
Yeah, they're all just like sprains and like stupid little injuries. There's like
Little ouchies.
Little ouchies.
except for his
Little
rookie year,
boo-boos.
he had a hernia. But John, can you
Big
confirm?
ouchie.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Maybe one more I'm seeing, but actually he might have
Either way,
started that
3
game or
games
something.
is still nothing.
Yeah, I can't see exactly. No, yeah, you're right. 2 entire
mean,
full
if you're
games.
He
still
missed 2
playing-
full games.
That's it. Over the last 3 years.
I'm not lying.
He does get banged up a little bit here and there, but yeah.
So, past 3 years, 43 receptions, 49 receptions, 48 receptions. Lots of room for improvement there. But over those 3 years, he averaged 17.2 yards per reception. That's a lot. That's
He's a deep
almost
threat.
3 points a catch. So, if he could do that and have like even like 70 catches and average like those yards, he'd be like top 20. Like, he's a crazy deep threat. And what's his name? Hunter Henry just left last year. He had 93 targets last year. And who else is on the team that's
They're
going
not
to catch
giving it to
passes?
Jared Cook.
Who's going to catch passes?
Jared Cook.
Eckler,
Josh
more
Palmer.
Dean. More...
Jalen Guyton? No, it's going to be the 3 main guys. It's going to be Austin Eckler, it's going to be Keenan Allen, and it's going to be Mike Williams, who's going to improve a lot this year. He's going to stay on the field. He's not going to leave games, and he's going to pop off.
I like
Yeah,
that pick. He has nothing but room for improvement.
Yeah, you really can't go down much. So, ceiling is the roof.
How many times are you gonna say that?
Well, now we're at 2. Might as well get a counter going. All right, Matt. What do you
Third
got?
time's a charm.
Most
all right.
improved player.
Mine is not so bold, but based on last season, a little bit due to injuries. I'm gonna go Julio Jones.
Julio.
We all know what he's capable of. I mean, I'm sure we can all agree he's easily a top 5 receiver in the league. Not fantasy-wise, just football player straight up. He's on a new team. He's going to see plenty of opportunities. I think having AJ on the opposite side is actually going to help him because when he was in Atlanta, he was probably seeing double coverage all game, every game. Now you can't really do that if you have somebody the same size and same talent level as Julio Jones on the other side. And that touchdown improvement, he's going to see a lot of that this year. I believe, hopefully,
Positive
kid.
regression. He's another guy that's positive regression. You can't
Whatever
get
that
much better.
means.
You can't get any much better from the bottom, so you can only go up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what did he have? 2 touchdowns last year in the handful of games that he played.
Yeah.
I mean, on the Falcons, he really wasn't even a touchdown monster ever. I
No.
don't think he ever had more than 10.
Big yards guy.
Very big yards guy. That's because Atlanta can't punch it in. But the Titans, they can score. They score points. And I like Tannehill a lot more than I like Matt Ryan. So, yeah, like I said, last year, only way to go was up.
Only way to go is up. All right, Matt. I'm going to piggyback off of your take earlier with Laviska Shenault. As much as I love DJ Chark, I do think he's going to be the most improved player this year in fantasy. He showed flashes last year, the talent he can bring to the table. Like Matt mentioned, his yards after the catch, super impressive. And when he gets targets, he definitely can produce. He was pretty much a flex option last year when he was able to get 5+ targets in every game. Obviously, that didn't happen every game, but if he's able to get some volume, I think he'll be fine. I don't think he'll have that much upside in terms of touchdowns, but if he gets some more volume this year, he's going to get more receptions. He's going to get way more yards after the catch. And with Trevor Lawrence, a better quarterback, he'll be a much improved player this year. And I think he'll be a very viable flex option every single week. So back in on Laviska Shenault.
Let me some Visca.
All right, we got a few more before we get to our rookie of the year, least valuable player, and most valuable player. So let's get into our second year breakout. Q, start us off. Who's breaking out this year?
Kind of off of hope. I'm going to go Henry Ruggs. So I had to think about it a little more just because during the other podcasts, I was questionable. But the loss of Aguilar, it's crazy how big of a weapon Aguilar was in this offense. But I think he's a big loss because we talked about their other receivers not being well known. Hunter Renfro, he's not much other than he did beat Jalen Ramsey in open practice. Unless you're Wentz, and I'm not sure if Carr is, you're not throwing the ball to the tight end all the time. So I don't know if Waller's going to catch every pass, or at least get every pass, every play. There's tons of boot potential. Last year, his average target was 17 yards. So he's going to be one of them down the field guys. And I mentioned that his skill is unknown, but I think he will be the best second year wide receiver that was like a top 20 guy. So he's going to be better than Jerry Jeudy and Jalen Reagor, of course. Out of the top 25 rookies taken, he's not better than CeeDee Lamb, and he's not better than Justin Jefferson.
All right.
So I guess it's small competition.
See it happening. Could break out this year. The volume's, open. So if he's able to get some separation, he could do it. All right, T-Gods, yours says you already know. Me and Matt theorized this is CeeDee Lamb. Is
Of
this
course,
correct?
it's CeeDee Lamb. He might have had a great season last year, but he's still living in Coop's shadow. He's still that second guy there. He's not the number one. But this year, going to change some people's minds. I'm telling you. What is that?
I'm saying you're going to flip the script.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm not doing it. CeeDee's going to do it. So last year, 74 receptions, 935 yards, 5 touchdowns. But that was mostly with Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci.
He's gone now.
Derek Gilbert.
Did they release him?
Yeah, they released him, and they signed Will Greer.
Right after they dropped Cam.
Greer.
Oh, well,
Right.
sorry, Ben. But no, with Dak back, I could easily see him going for at least 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. I have no reason to believe that he can't do it. And his 74 catches, that's only 2 more than Russell Gage last year. I'm just saying. He's not a second-year breakout, but I'm just saying, Matt, don't put some respect on his name.
I got respect on
You
his
don't.
name. Man.
You don't.
I don't know if Matt Ryan has respect on his name.
Okay, all right.
We'll see. We shall see. All right, Matt, who you got second year breakout?
Second year breakout. T-Gods, I know you can agree with me on this one. I'm going to go Brandon Nyuk. He was dealing with some injuries last year. He missed 4 games. And like I said in the previous podcast, if you put his production on a 16-game scale on what he did in those 12 games, he finishes as a top 15 wide receiver. And that offense is one of the best in the league, regardless of who is at quarterback. Like Sean hinted at earlier, both look good in the preseason. So it doesn't matter who's throwing it to him. Brandon Ayuk's going to get it done. And the other weapons should kind of let him see some open space on the field, as crazy as that might sound. George Kittle over the middle. He's going to draw a lot of attention. Brandon Ayuk right down the sideline. Boom, right there. So, I just like his potential in this offense a lot. I like this offense in general a lot. And I see Brandon Ayuk having a very big year this year, barring injuries.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk, definitely a big candidate for a second-year breakout. I'll finish this off, and I'll change the trend of talking about all these wide receivers. Let's talk about DeAndre Swift.
World.
He somewhat broke out last year. He was a bit banged up, missed a couple of games. But as soon as he comes back from the current injury he's dealing with, I think DeAndre Swift's going to go on a tear this year. Goff is going to target him a ton when he's facing pressure, and he's a very solid back as a whole, one of the better pass catching backs in the league. And I love his talent. And I think he has top 10 upside easy this season, as long as he's in full health. Give me some DeAndre Swift as my second year breakout.
I like it.
Before we move on to the next and go far away from the last topic, the Mike Williams thing made me forget about bringing up this thing I saw about TY. Like, we think TY is like missing all these games, an injury bug, but he's only missed 10 games in a 10 or 7-year career, and most of them just came in the last couple of years, which weren't even that many. He missed 1 game last year. So before there's any more slander on TY, which there's a lot, I think we need to realize that he's not an injury bug.
Yeah, I think you got said that on the Colts episode. I think that was his take for saying TY's that guy.
He is that guy.
Be
Love
that
T.Y.
bull.
We'll see what he can do when he comes back. Could be Wentz's guy. All right, let's get into the overhyped rookies. Q and T gods, I'll let you tag team this one, even though I don't like it.
Why?
Because I like this
Let me
guy.
just say it's
Ooh, I'll
Melvin,
talk about him
dirty.
later.
All right.
Javonte Williams. It's Melvin Gordon's backfield. Maybe I would have felt a little better about him if Drew Lock was the quarterback, because they'd experiment a little more. But with Teddy, I don't think he's helping this offense really. And like I said, it's Melvin Gordon's backfield. I think he has better potential of finishing top 20 than Javonte does.
Sean is throwing up every time you mention Melvin Gordon.
In his new house, on his new
What do you keep
carpet,
saying? It's his backfield.
it's his backfield. Sorry, it's Monty Ball or Royce Freeman's backfield. Which one do you want?
Royce Freeman. He's a free agent. Someone's got to scoop him. I need him to be relevant again. You guys got anything to add to that take?
I would just like to say that Javonte caught 50 balls in 3 years of football. It's not ideal. It's
Definitely not
not
ideal.
terrible, but it's not. That's just another thing going against them.
Yeah.
And there's
They're
a
a
lot
bad
going
team.
against them.
They're going to be playing from behind too. They're not going to be up and not just run out the clock. Like, they're going to be throwing the ball. Not to Javonte.
I'll give my take on Javonte in a little
Okay.
bit.
All right.
I'll come back at you guys. We'll
Piped.
see.
He's piped.
All right.
Shout out Melv.
Shout out Mel.
Matt, what you got? What you got for us? Overhyped rookie. Who you got?
My overhyped rookie, Jamar Chase.
I like
That
this.
is-
I like
that-
this.
That is a 3-headed receiving monster in Cincinnati, and I think Jamar Chase is the odd man out. I mean, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, they're already proven. Jamar Chase in the preseason already has 4 drops. Not a good look for him.
And
Not-
what, like
not a
5
good look.
passes?
Yeah,
Even
not a good
worse.
look for the young receiver. And has anybody heard any news about like his little domestic violence case? Or
Yeah, we're not
Ooh.
going to talk about that. We'll just add him to the bracket
Yeah,
later.
add him to the bracket.
It's
keep it
speculative.
keep it in the back of your mind, though. I mean, he
I want to
could
see a
be
confirmed report.
he could be facing consequences for that in the future. Nothing set in stone yet, but I just do not like Jamar Chase, especially where he's being drafted. I believe he's being drafted as the top Bengals wide receiver
And he hasn't even played football in a year.
in a year. Thank you, Q. Right to my next point. He has not played football in a year. Already 4 drops in the preseason.
I might catch more.
Maybe he's just shaking the nerves off, but I don't care. That's not a good look. I would easily rather take the 2 guys that are proven on that offense with that quarterback. And Jamar Chase, like I said, is the odd man out.
Matt, T. Higgins is another guy that you've convinced me to put over Jamar Chase. So
Thank you.
I'll talk
I'm glad
about
I could
Jamar
do
Chase
that for
too.
you.
I'll talk about Jamar Chase too in a little bit. We'll see if I'm on that side or not. But my overhyped rookie, Naji Harris.
oh my God.
Now I look, I like Najee a ton this year, and I still think he's going to have a great season.
That's a
but with-
lie. You hate him.
I hate him compared
You've
to
been doing
ADP.
nothing but talking bad about him
With
since,
the
Let's
worst-
rewind.
since you mentioned his name ever.
With the worst offensive line in football, I'm nervous about drafting him as the 11th running back and the 15th player off the board. He's
But you
going
would
ahead
take
of
Joe Mixon.
He's going ahead of Austin Eckler in some places. I think his ADP is going out of this world. I think he's more of like a mid-tier RB2, and I think he has a shot at RB1 upside for sure. But this is a pass-first team, terrible offensive line, and he's not the best pass-catching running back out there. So there's definitely a handful of guys I'm more comfortable taking. The hype train has gone too far for me on Najee Harris.
You taking Joe Mixon over him?
Yes,
Just say it.
of course. I have Najee Harris as my RB18. Yes, sir. Mid RB2 for me.
I would
I'm
like
not,
to
I'm not as
say-
high. I'm nervous about the offensive line. I'm nervous about a couple things. I do think he has top 12 upside, but I don't want to draft him as the 11th running back, as almost a first rounder. It's too high for me.
Devontae caught 50 balls in 3 years. Najee Harris caught 43 last year.
Yeah,
Just
I
throwing it out there. That's just another. I'm just-
definitely not drafting Javonte over Najee Harris.
I
Najee Harris is
wasn't saying you
overhyped.
were. Come on, focus. I wasn't saying you were. I was just.
Yeah, I hear you. I just think the hype train's going a little too out of control for me. This ADP is too rich. That's my overhyped take there.
Okay.
All right,
I like
let's-
it based off ADP.
let's keep it rolling. We got a few more awards to get through, and we're running a little low on time. So let's keep it going. Bold stat takes. We can get through this one pretty quick. We're gonna give our takes for some crazy stats this year. Q, start us off. What do you got?
Justin Herbert finishes better statistically over Patrick Mahomes and wins the NFL MVP.
Q came in that like a freight
Yo,
train.
he was like an auctioneer. He was like, going once, going twice.
Because I preach this every day to myself in my head.
And winning MVP.
And I already put $20 that they're going to win the division, the Chargers. Only
he
to
was
win
all in on the Herbert, the Chargers, all in.
So okay, I'll go. You
I
go.
can't say I
Drink your
hate it.
water. So, like for every running back, like 1,000 is like, yo, that's crazy. Like I want to do that. CMC is going for 2,000, 1,000.
I thought you were going to say 2000.
He's doing it. I don't care whose O-line is. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care who's on the team. McCaffrey's a menace. He's just great. He's an alien or something, dude. He's too good.
Out of this world.
I think
All right.
he'll at least hit 3,000 in some form of rushing and passing or catching.
I don't
Wow.
think that's crazy. I really
That's
don't.
wild. Could definitely happen.
God, that would be insane.
It's in the realm of possibility, and if that happens, whoever drafts CMC is probably winning their league. So get that first pick. All right, Matt, what's your bold stat take here?
All right, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Aaron Rodgers breaking the touchdown record this year. Record is currently 55, held by Peyton Manning. Rodgers had 48 last year, and that was with Devontae Adams missing games. So I believe that Rodgers will break the 55 touchdowns in a season record with all the weapons he has there. They still have Devontae Adams, like I said, Robert Tonyan. I mean,
Randall
wide
Cobb.
receiver-
Randall Cobb gets
wide
at
re-
least 5.
Listen.
Amari
Wide
Rodgers.
receiver 2's been up in the air, but they brought back Randall Cobb. Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb in the past have been elite. So, I mean, even at his old age, he could still produce. So, yeah, Rodgers breaking the touchdown record.
All right. I like it. All right, I'll finish this off here. Is it really an episode of Super Fantasy Bros if I don't talk about Jarvis Landry or Joe Mixon? I'm going to go with Joe Mixon this year. Mixon will finish this season with 50-plus catches, 1,300-plus rushing yards, and 10-plus touchdowns, all career highs for my guy, and he'll solidify himself as a top 5 running back this season. Pounding the drum for Mixon all off season. If he fails me, I'll bite that bullet. But I'm all in on Joe Mixon
Can't
again
wait.
this year. We'll see. We'll come back.
We're gonna-
to this, of course.
We're
We'll
going to
definitely come
grind
back.
you up, Sean.
All right, I'm ready to get grinded up for that. All right, we'll see. I'm ready to just ride my high horse. Hopefully, he takes me to the promised land. All right, fantasy rookie of the year. Pretty self-explanatory. Q, what do you got?
Trevor Lawrence, I think he's going to have a Burrow type season minus the injury. And I think James Robinson now being the starting running back is going to be extremely beneficial to him. So, yeah, I think that's going to help him be offensive rookie of the year. Just one of the best rookie quarterbacks to draft in fantasy.
Yeah, solid weapons for sure. All right, you got fantasy rookie of the year. Who you got?
The man that you hate, Najee Harris.
He's a little overhyped.
Najee Harris. Okay, so the Steelers, we know they were like one of the most, if not the most, pass-heavy offense in the league last year. They know that. They don't want to be that. That's why they drafted Najee Harris in the first round. I think he's going to have crazy opportunity. Crazy opportunity. Like, who's he competing with? Benny Snell? Benny Snell's not touching the ball. He's not seeing the field. It's all Najee Harris. I honestly feel bad for Najee because they're going to just be running him into the ground. It's the Najee Harris show.
Year 1.
He's just his legs are gonna be done, dude. He's gonna be tired by the time he's like 25. All
He's
because of
going to
this
be like
season.
James Robinson last year.
Like opportunity. That's it. It's just opportunity. He's gonna have so much of it.
Volume is key.
Volume is key. Here we're coming from. All right, Matt. Who's your fantasy rookie of the year?
Like I just said, volume is key. So I'm going to go with Devonta Smith.
Surprised you didn't take this one.
I know. I was surprised nobody took him. I said, snag him right up. I mean, the only competition he has for targets isn't at the wide receiver position. It's at the tight end position with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. So, I mean, he's really the best weapon on the outside on the Philadelphia Eagles, and we've barely seen him play. But when we have seen him play, he's gotten separation. I mean, he's quick, he's small, he's hard to track. I love Devonta Smith coming into this year. I think Jalen Hurts is actually going to have a really good fantasy year outside of his rushing ability. And Devonta Smith was the best receiver in this draft class, in my opinion. In my opinion.
All right.
Like I said, Jamar Chase didn't even play football last year. Jalen Waddle went ahead of him as well. So I love Devonta Smith this year, and his volume is going to be outrageous. So he's going to see a ton of targets, get a ton of receptions, and he's going to be like the focal point on this offense.
All right. Definitely see it happening. He's going to be a solid guy. I'll finish this off. I'll go with Cuban T God's overhyped rookies, and I'm going to take my guy, Javonte Williams. Been pounding the drum for this guy all offseason in a split backfield with Michael Carter in 2020. So he had another NFL running back that was also drafted in, I believe, the second round. In 11 games, he still managed 1,140 yards, 25 catches, another 267 yards, and 22 touchdowns to Carter's 11. He's got a nose for the end zone, and if Melv is on his last legs, like I think he is, I think Javonte will take over this backfield at some point this season, sooner rather than later, and I think he'll thrive as a solid running back this year.
Probably not.
We'll see. Let's get into least valuable player before we do our MVPs. Q, start us off. What do you got?
So I'm taking the Rams backfield as a whole. They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Todd Gurley in 2018. And Sean McVay seems to be liking this committee approach because they don't have Todd Gurley anymore. Henderson's already dealing with injury, and Tony Michel is just not someone that could be the guy in that backfield. So I would avoid them all at all costs. If you're taking one, obviously you're taking Henderson, but you're not feeling good about any of them really.
Least valuable player, the whole Rams running backs.
Jake Funk, though, he might be pretty good.
Uptown Funk you up. All right, T-Gods. Who's your least valuable player? We know who this is. I think everyone who watches the podcast should know who this is.
Vito, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Dewey, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Noah Fant. Noah Fant is going to be the least valuable player this year. Last year, tight end 9, but that was with Drew Lock and without Sutton. Teddy comes in. Sutton comes back. Here's Teddy's history with tight ends. 2014, Kyle Rudolph. 2015, also with Kyle Rudolph. 2014, 24 receptions for Rudolph. That was tight end 38. 2015, 49 receptions. Tight end 15. Teddy doesn't play in 2016. Rudolph goes for 83 receptions. Rudolph could do it. Teddy didn't want him to do it. Last year, does anyone even know who the tight end for the Panthers was last year?
My boy Ian Thomas.
Where was he at? Was he rostered?
No, not even close.
Never.
Not even close.
They had him before Teddy was there for like a couple of games.
Doesn't like tight ends. And even if he did, I think Sutton still gets targeted over him. Judy still gets targeted over him. And the ball will go to either your Mans or Melv before it would even go to Fant. I don't see any value that he has. And he's being drafted as a tight end 7 over Logan Thomas, over Bobby Tunyon.
Crazy.
Don't draft him, especially where he's being drafted at. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm off the Noah Fant hype train as well. I like the talent, but there's just nowhere near enough opportunity there. He's all right. Don't like him this year, though. Matt, what do you got?
All right. I'm going to go Leonard Fournette, solely based off the fact that he is being drafted ahead of his teammate by 3 running back spots. Leonard Fournette is going RB31. Ronald Jones going RB34. And Ronald Jones was light years ahead of Leonard Fournette last year, rushing for 600-plus more yards than Fournette did. And he only had 5 less targets than Fournette. And we all see Fournette kind of as the receiving back on that team. But last year kind of shows a different story. And there's a few more guys that are going behind them that could eventually lead their backfield, unlike I see Fournette doing. That's Trey Sermon, Michael Carter, and possibly either Zach Moss or Devin Singletary if either one of them finds a groove in that offense. So, yeah, where Leonard Fournette is going, I am steering clear of that.
Yep. Definitely steering clear of Leonard Fournette here as well. Matt, I'm going to piggyback off of your Jamar Chase as an overhyped rookie, and I think he's going to be the least valuable player in fantasy based on where he's being drafted. I loved him heading into this season, and even throughout when we talked about the Bengals early on, I liked him a lot. He still has the skill to be an elite wide receiver. We know that, but a year off from football, I'm nervous about how this preseason went. He had a ton of drops, and the Bengals still have two very good wide receivers, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, that are already proven. And I don't think they're going to hesitate to just work him up to speed slowly. I hope he proves me wrong. But as wide receiver 25, as a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end flex, you're getting Jamar Chase at that price. It's way too high. T. Higgins 6 picks later as wide receiver 28 is way better. I think Chase could put it together this season, but maybe not until like the second half at the earliest. There's also a report Auden Tate might be taking some snaps early on from him also. Auden Tate's also a talented wide receiver. So way too much hype for me right now. I'd rather wait and see than take the risk right now.
I wish I just piggyback off you, Sean, because I hate Jamar Chase this year.
Yep. Not a big guy on Jamar Chase right now. Fantasy MVP, and we'll get to some trivia. Let's wrap this up, guys. Fantasy MVP, the most important award. Q, start us off. What do you got?
I mentioned you guys convinced me earlier to move him up in my ranks. I'm going to go Austin Eckler. When he came back from injury in week 12, he had, and those 6 games, he had 4 of those games, he had at least 7 or more catches, one of them being, or targets. Targets. And one of them being 16. He had 16 targets in a game. That's more than many receivers. Justin Herbert now is pretty established. And MVP, he's going to be the guy that could win you a league. I wouldn't be, he could finish number 1, and he should be drafted rightfully so inside the top 6 running backs.
Right. Eckler. All right, T-Gods, who you got? Fantasy MVP.
My guy, I've been loving him ever since last year. Also Matt's guy, James Robinson. I love me some James Robinson. 1,070 rush yards, 49 receptions, 344 receiving yards, 10 total touchdowns. Undrafted free agent did that.
Workhorse.
He's a beast. It's a shame that ETN goes down, but that's just how it is. So there's really still no competition for him. He gets a QB upgrade who's not afraid to dump it off to the running back. We saw it with ETN last year. 48 receptions in 12 games. He'll do it. He'll dump it right off to Rob. He had
nice.
86%. Like he ran the ball in 86% of like their rushing plays. That was second in the league. He was also 5th in rush yards, 5th in points per game amongst running backs, 17.9. I don't understand why this man is going at RB18 when he has top 5 upside and like a top 12 floor.
I'm sure he's slowly moving up still.
He should be, but
hopping back
He's got to be moving up, hopefully. We'll keep pounding the drum for him until the season starts.
I'm beating the shit out of that drum.
All right, Matt, who's your fantasy MVP?
Fantasy MVP. Yeah, I got 2 guys in this league. One of them I'm wearing. Another one I'm going to say is MVP, and that's DeAndre Hopkins. Finished wide receiver 4 last year. He has 4 consecutive top 5 fantasy finishes among wide receivers. So, I mean, he's basically the king of consistency. Like I said, he's the best wide receiver in the league. Finished 2nd last year in targets, receptions, and receiving yards, and that is behind Q's man earlier in Stephon Diggs, only because he was really the only option on that team. But D-Hop saw at least 7 targets a game last year. This year, he's not really going to see that much competition for targets again. I mean, maybe Christian Kirk, Q, don't even say AJ Green.
Rondale.
No, don't even say Rondo.
I mean, he's a rookie, so I'm not going to bank on that too much. D-Hop still has 34% target share each of the past 7 seasons. 7 years, he has 34% target share. That is unreal. Kyler was a little bit banged up towards the end of the year last year. So with a healthy Kyler and unproven backfield in Arizona, no reason DeAndre Hopkins could not win you your league.
And you're getting him in the second round because you're like the scarcity of like good running back ones. That's like a steal,
Yes,
even if it's
sir.
just the first wave back around.
Yep. I'll finish this off here. My fantasy MVP. I know I said fantasy quarterback would be Lamar, but I'm still going to go with my guy, Kyler Murray, again this year. DeAndre Hopkins' teammate. He was actually my take for fantasy MVP last year. It was looking pretty good. Weeks 1 through 10 last year, he was quarterback 1, averaging 30.1 points per game. Once the shoulder injury happened in week 11, he slowed down a bit, played a bit more cautious just to protect himself. That shoulder wasn't fully healthy, even though they kept saying it's fully healthy. He's fully healthy. I think they just kind of rushed him back out there to keep staying in that playoff race there. 2021, he's fully healthy, ready to continue that early season version of himself. So my not so bold pick for fantasy MVP this season. I'm all in on Kyler.
I like it.
All right, that's a wrap for our awards. Let's get to some trivia before we get out of here. I know we've gone a little long here. Q, let's get through these 3 trivia questions. What do you got for us?
All right. So we all know Stephon Diggs led the league in catches last year. Who were the other 4 to finish off the top 5 in catches
In
for wide receivers?
receptions
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
Okay. That's a hard one.
They don't need to be in order. Just give me the other 4. Maybe I'll give you an extra point if you somehow get the other 4. I mean, if you
all
get it in
4?
order. No, get them in order.
Okay. Well, I didn't put them in order, so that's already chalk. Wow.
Can I give a hint?
I'm guessing.
Actually, no.
No hints. No hints. No
Wait,
hints.
you said 4 and everyone besides.
So yeah, the top 5. Diggs is number 1. Who are the last 4? 2, 3, 4, 5.
And catches.
In receptions. Fucking hell. All right. Whatever. I just went with fucking chalk.
Wait. Give me like 10 more seconds.
Yeah, you're good.
Take your time.
That was a
Take
tough
your
one. That was a tough one, Q.
That was a good one.
That was a good
All right.
question.
Let me make sure that I'm right.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I'll just read down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Read it down.
Diggs, Devontae Adams,
Yes.
DeAndre Hopkins,
Yes.
Allen Robinson,
Fuck no.
Fuck.
and Tyler Lockett.
Fuck.
I had Lockett too,
I
dude.
had DK over Lockett, and I had
I had
Tyreek.
DK and I had Keenan Allen.
Not sure how Tyler Lockett
I had
made
Ridley
that
on there.
list.
Whatever, that's fine.
How did Lockett have?
All right, I got
more
2. So we all got
receptions?
2.
I got 2.
I got 2. Yeah. D
We
Hop
all
and
got Hopkins and
Devontae.
Adams. Yeah. Those were the 2 easy
No,
ones.
I didn't even get D Hop, dude.
Oh, wow.
I got Adams and
How do
Lockett.
you not get D Hop? I mentioned it earlier on the pod.
I
He
don't
was
know. I'm
second
in my
in
own world
receptions.
over here, dude.
So this last question is going to be, you'll see, but this one's not too bad. All right, so there's another similar question, like name this, that. There were 8 tight ends in 2020 that had at least 7 touchdowns. Can you name 5 of them? And for a bonus, name all 8.
8 tight ends.
Had at
that
least 7.
Wow.
Had at least 7 touchdowns.
Yes.
Okay.
5. Name 5 for the 1 point. If you can name all 8, a bonus point.
Okay. Fuck, did he? He had to have.
You said 8.
Yeah, there are
8?
8 total tight ends.
8?
Yes, 8.
Tight
With
ends suck.
7 touchdowns.
Yes.
Fuck, dude. I think I have 5. I hope these are all right, though. I guess I have to say this bull. All right, you got to give us a little bit of time on this one because this one's toughy.
That's fine. I'm
I
sure the
got
There were
fans.
8, dude.
I have
Got my
6.
8 written down.
I have 6, but
I
I'm
have
not.
six.
100
And I'm looking
not
at it
100%
again.
confident.
There's 8. You might have to think outside the box for one of them, 2 of
Alright.
them, 3 of them, maybe.
Oh my god, outside the box for 3 of them.
I have 3 outside of the box answers too.
3
If
of
I
them
hit
are.
all 8, I'm gonna explode.
I'd say 3 of them are like gimmies. 2,
All right, Q, stop.
Yeah,
I don't want any
Shut
hints.
the hell up.
All right, I got 8. I don't know if they're right, but I got 8.
I don't have any room.
Just
for
thought
my
of somebody
third
that
answer.
might be in there too.
you
You know
might
what?
have the first 2-hour
Do I
podcast.
switch? I'm
All
switching.
right,
I'm switching.
all
I'm switching.
right,
I'm switching. I'm switching. I'm switching.
all right.
One last second switch. All right, Q, read them off. I'm done.
All right. So we have Travis Kelce,
Yep.
Robert Tonyan,
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Darren Waller.
Uh-huh.
This might be where it starts screwing people up. Jimmy Graham,
Damn.
I'm already done.
Anu
No.
Smith,
No.
Damn.
Mark
Go ahead.
Andrews,
Yes.
Damn.
Gronk,
No.
I
And
didn't
Jared-
include Gronk. I took him
and
off.
Jared Cook.
And Jared
I
Cook.
got
I have him,
Jared
I have
Cook. I got Jared Cook.
Wait, so how many did we need?
5 for 1 point.
I got 5.
No,
I got
no
5.
I got 5.
Matt,
Did-
you got 5 too?
I got 5.
All right, we
Yeah.
all got 5 then?
Damn it, we all got 5.
Let's
I
go.
had
I got
Gronk.
so lucky
Trash,
with Jared
dude.
Cook.
I had
I was
Gronk.
gonna put Andrews too.
I put Andrews. I had Logan Thomas. I thought he had more because
I had Logan Thomas too.
I put Kittle just because I couldn't
I
think of
put
anybody.
Hawk. Hawk didn't have 7 touchdowns last year.
he did not.
I put Gesicki as one of my outside the box picks. I had Gronk written and I scribbled out Gronk and wrote Jimmy Graham and I was like,
Gesicki-
let's go. But it didn't
Gesicki
help.
You had
was-
2. That's a
Gesicki-
wash.
Yeah, there's a couple that had 6. Kaseki was 1. So was Hawk. All right, this final question. I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but this is what you might need the most time for. So in 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 players who who had when they had the ball for a carry, reached 20 miles per hour at least 4 times. So there were 2 players. Maybe I can. Okay, so 2 players reached at least 4 times. One was a quarterback, one was a wide receiver. I guess do that, and then there's a third part of it. So one quarterback reached
Wait.
20 miles
Okay.
per hour running the ball 4 times, and then one wide receiver also reached when he had the ball and ran, at least reached 20 miles per hour 4 times.
Okay. So one running receiver and one quarterback is all we need right now.
Right now, yes. There's another part.
Okay.
I have a running back on my list.
Well, I said quarterback and wide receiver.
Well, I have those 2.
All right.
But
All right.
All right. So I have 2. And
All
then
right.
what's the next part?
Well, we'll just do that one part, then we'll go to the next part.
all right, well then I'll cover up my
So are
other
these 2
answer.
separate questions?
Sort of, yes.
All right. So wide receiver and quarterback.
Right now, yes.
Ready.
Show them. Tyreek, Lamar.
Sorry, Glenn.
It was Tyreek and Kyler.
Oh,
What?
I slept on my boy. Kyler fast as shit.
I got them both wrong.
Got
All right.
Tyreek. Mac
So
got
now-
that. So wait, what do
You
I get a
can't
point?
read.
Or do we
I
get
wrote
no
Terry.
points?
You
Do we
did.
get no points for getting both?
I didn't write Terry.
Yeah, no. I guess 1 point. 1 point. Yeah, you get 1 point. 2 points
Yo,
for.
you can't switch. Yo,
All right.
bro, this shit is a whole scheme against
Let's
me.
go,
I'm done
let's
with-
go.
I'm done with
Yeah,
trivia.
we'll take the
Get one right. Here, Matt. This one's for you. 2 running backs had at least 5 times running the ball for 20 miles per hour. Who were they? And you guys are going to be angry when you don't get the one.
What if I do get it?
That would be very impressive. So, Matt, maybe the one you had was one of them.
I know it was. And actually, you know what? No, because your
Wait, so
questions are bullshit.
just 2 running backs?
2 running backs. There's a third part that's only one guy. You just have to figure out who it is.
All right.
Unless
I
you
got
want to
the
do
2
it
running
now.
backs. Just do it now.
All right.
Do it all
Wait,
once.
I didn't get
So-
my second running back.
No, okay. So, and then the last part was one running back did it 6 times. Who was that running back?
Is that
Right,
the,
so
is this the
th-
third one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just put them
So
on
3
three.
running backs.
You
3
have
running
to
backs
put,
ran
like-
fast as shit 5+ times.
And you have to put a star next to one who did it 6.
Or
Yeah,
just
I
put a
guess.
6.
Sure.
I'm putting a star because I don't listen to Q.
All right.
Well,
we
that's
need
why you get them all wrong.
one more.
Who's in the lead right now?
I don't know.
Probably not me anymore because you're a scheme.
You know, I'm
Madden
just gonna go with
12 cover.
this.
Alvin Kamara wasn't even in the league.
Oh yeah. I was like, what are you talking about, Q?
Because your questions are bullshit.
All up to last week, you had a problem with him.
All right.
Is-
I think I got my 3 guys. I think I'm wrong on all 3, and I don't give a shit.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wait, there's 3 guys?
So
Oh
2
my
ran.
God. 2 ran
One-
for 5+ times of 20 miles per hour, and then 1 guy ran 6. So 3 running backs total.
Hold on.
And then
let me
pick
add,
whatever guy is supposed
let
to be
me
the
add
6th
one
guy.
more
Yeah, you wanted to not listen to me. You're gonna have to cut out all this time.
because you said 2 ran 5+ times
And
or
one
5
ran
times, and then 1 ran 6+.
6.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So as a 3rd guy who ran the 6+.
All right, let's go. I'm just guessing.
Yeah,
All
me
right.
too. Mine
let
are
me
wild.
see the- I
and they're
guess-
probably wrong.
Point out where the 5s are, unless I could tell.
I have a star next to the 6.
So Dehen and Booby or most of Booby. All right. So the 2 that
I have
all right. I'll
Miles.
just tell you the ones who ran the 5 because this is a lot to read. So the 2 running backs who had 5 times of 20 miles per hour were Miles Sanders and Derrick Henry.
Fuck. I have Miles Sanders as my
Henry's
6.
supposed to have 6, dude.
The 6 was Jonathan Taylor.
All right. Well, do I get nothing
cares?
since I got
Big
Miles Sanders?
questions.
I don't know, Q. How are you doing those points for that?
Yeah, but like, Jesus Christ.
Whatever. We'll figure out the points later. That's a wrap for the podcast. We've definitely gone way over time this week, but that's okay. It was the preseason award show. That's it for that. Make sure you're following us here on Twitch. If you're watching, throw us a sub on YouTube as well. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcast. If you want it somewhere else, let us know. We'll get it there. Also on Twitter at Super FB Podcast, Instagram at Super Fantasy Podcast, and TikTok as well, Super Fantasy Bros. We'll be back next week with our week 1 preview, and we got a new intro for the podcast ready for you guys. So stay tuned. See you there. Peace.